Hey guys, I'm Becky and welcome back to another video. Today I am doing a walkthrough of my 2022 reading journal as well as my January spreads. Now, this year I decided to do something a bit different, and I have decided to do a digital reading journal. So I have completely made this myself on Canva, and I'm going to try it out this year. I really loved bullet journaling. The first one I did was in 2020. Did it all year long, really enjoyed it. I did it for most of 2020. Well, I don't even know if it's most. Maybe to like July, maybe. And then I just kind of stopped, and I don't really have the desire to put in as much effort as I was. I really enjoy it. I love keeping track of stats and what books I'm reading and things like that. However, I just didn't love having it on paper. I'm a very digital person. I only have my phone with me constantly on a computer. Not so much carrying a bullet journal around or hanging out my office and stuff like that. So there was no way to consistently have it with me where I'd always be keeping track. I would mostly be like creating the spreads and then filling them out at the end of the month instead of during the month while I'm reading, stuff like that. So, since I always have my phone or computer with me, I figured trying a digital journal might be worth a shot. So, that's what we're going to do this year and see what happens. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my computer screen and show you what I have done this year. It is pretty much the same as what I've done the past 2 years, just a couple tweaks. So let's get into it. All right, guys. So this is my reading journal that I made, like I said, on Canva. This is the cover page. I don't really need this, but I wanted it to feel as much as a physical bullet journal as possible. So I made this really cute cover page that looks like crushed green velvet with a gold little ghost silhouette and reading journal on the front. Next is my cheat sheet page. So I don't know how often I'm going to use this. I have yet to really use it, but I wanted to have it just in case. So I do have the bullet journal background on it. I have the little cheat for where thirds, quarters, halves are for vertical and horizontal. And I don't know how much is going to get used, but I wanted to have it just in case I wanted to use it. Next page is my reading goals. My first goal is to read 100 books, and what my plan is, you can't really see it, but on here there are 100 little squares. So my plan is for every book that I read, I'm going to use a color corresponding to my little key here and use a image or background of one of those colors to fill in each month for every book that I read. Now, this is something I did in my physical journal, and I really liked how it looked. So it's something that I wanted to continue even in my digital version. The next page is more reading goals. So this is, read more that I already own on my shelf. My plan is to where the little pound signs are to type in how many books I end up reading and also out of how many I currently have at the start of 2022. Next is to finish 5 series. My plan is to insert the covers on each of these little book images. And then the other one on this page is to read at least 3,000 pages a month. The next goal is to read 12 thick books. So I have 12 book silhouettes where I will put the covers of the 12 thick books as well as their star rating. Next is to read 20 books with a BIPOC main character or by a BIPOC author. So again, I have the little book silhouette. I'm going to put the cover of each book and my star rating. And then the last page for my reading goals and my last reading goal is the rest of the 20 BIPOC books, and then read at least 5 books by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Now, if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, for whatever reason, you've blocked it out. My favorite author is Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I have quite a backlog of her books to read because she writes very quickly and a lot. So I want to try to read at least 5 of her books this year, and same deal, put the covers and the ratings. I definitely wanted, because this is a digital version, to be a lot more visually pleasing. I wanted to do a lot more of covers and things like that, things that I would normally have to print stuff out in color at work, cut out, paste in. I don't like a kind of like scrapbooky bullet journal or reading journal. I love when other people do it. I just don't have the time or the energy. So the fact that it's digital and it will take me literally 2 seconds to do this, I love that. So you will notice there's a really big theme of highlighting a lot of covers and other digital art. So now the next page is Read the Rainbow, and we have this awesome person on the cover with their awesome rainbow sweater. So I believe last year, or this year technically, this year was the first year that I did a Read the Rainbow. And what I did was challenge myself to read a book whose cover is mainly one of each of the colors of the rainbow. However, I want to challenge myself even further and not only have the cover be mostly one of these colors, but also be an LGBTQ book. Next is my 2022 TBR. In 2020, I did 20 in 2020. I really liked that, but I do not like the idea of continuing to grow that each year because it's just a lot. It's a lot of pressure. I love planning, thus the planner, but I don't like feeling stuck in my reading. I like to plan TBRs, but they're very loose. I'm a plan TBR yet mood reader at the same time. So having another goal that is very lofty of reading X number of books and here are the set books, I don't really love that. So instead I decided in 2021 and now 2022 to set up a TBR of books that I, have had on my shelf forever or are coming out that I definitely want to get to. So I believe there's 40 books on this list. This is the first page. You can pause if you would like to read each of the titles, but I'm going to go through these 3 pages pretty quickly. So here is the next page. Pause if you would like. Here is the final page. Pause if you would like. So the next spread is my Books and Bites book club. This is a book club that I run at my local library where I work. So my plan is I, again, have the book silhouettes. I'm going to post the cover of the book that we read that month, as well as my star rating. This is something that I've done in all my bullet journals thus far and really, really love. If you want to join our book club, but you don't live in Taylor, Michigan, then feel free. Here is thus far what the books are. They are also always on my Goodreads. You can also just comment on anything and ask me what it is for this month or follow me on Instagram because I always share my tentative TBRs on there. But feel free to read these books with me if you want to and talk to me about them. I love that. Anybody who wants to talk about books that I've read, let's do it. And the next page is just more spaces for the rest of the books for the year. So next is my books read spread. I have gone back and forth on wanting to do this spread, but also is it a bit duplicative? And that's because obviously I'm going to have monthly spreads, and in each of those monthly spreads have a page where I list the books I read that month. So having a spread at the beginning where I'm putting all the books I have read felt a little bit duplicative. However, I saw Katie Colson's, who is, I want to say, one of my new all-time favorite booktubers, but she's not really new. I'm also not that new to her. I've been watching her for a while, but have now realized that she's definitely one of my favorites. Please check her out if you haven't. But she posted her 2022 bullet journal, and this is something she did. So she has these little bookshelves, and her plan is to create a little shelf for each month. And I really, really loved that. So I've decided to do that because that seems a little bit different than what I will be doing monthly. I have at the bottom my little key, so I want to make each book one of these colors depending on the rating that I gave that book. And I think it's a fun way to kind of flip back and see all the books I read that year quickly, but also in a really cute way and something that's not so duplicative when you're looking at my monthly spreads. I don't know who's going to be looking at these besides me, but also you may notice that I'm using the word duplicative. Don't know if that's a word. Pretty sure I've never said that in my entire life, but I can't think of the word I want. I think redundant is the word I'm looking for, but it's duplicative now. The next spread is my pages read tracker. So I have these cute little open books, and where the pound signs are or hashtags for you younger kids, this is where I'm going to type in how many pages I read each month. And then I have a end book at the bottom. I will put the total number of pages read for the year. Next is Battle of the Books. This year I did this spread for the first time in my bullet journal and then copied it over to Instagram, and I love it. It's very hard. It's very hard. So I definitely wanted to include it. Next is my favorite books read. I've completely made these shelves and I absolutely love how they turn out. I really, really love that sleeping cat. On this spread, I'm going to put all of my favorite books that I read this year. I want to say that there's like 50 or 60 books that I ended up with. This is a spread that I do. I want to say, I keep saying every year in my bullet journal. I've only been doing it for 2 years. This is the third year, but I really enjoy it. I like writing them down and just seeing all of my favorite books that I read that year. So this is the second page of it. Again, really love how it turned out. And then the last yearly spread is my top 10 of 2022. So I have 10 books stacked up, and my plan is to just write the titles of each. And I think I'm going to put them in order of 10 being at the bottom, number 1 at the top. So now let's get into the January spreads. So my January theme, I decided to do like blue, snow, trees, that kind of thing. Really, really cute. I believe that this is also my December theme for Instagram. So I make Instagram templates for tentative TBR, currently reading, and books read during the month that are free to use. I make them just for fun for myself and then share them on Instagram so you guys can use them too. So be sure to follow me on Instagram if you want to see that. This was my December theme and I love it. So I decided to use it for my January theme in my bullet journal. So first up is my to be read. I just did some simple like snow at the bottom, snowflakes for each of the books I want to read, as well as some snow in the background. Super simple, but also really, really cute, and something that I wouldn't really be able to do in my bullet journal unless I like painted the entire page, which would be a lot. So, absolutely love this for me. I love that I can make like cute backgrounds and colorful pages in a digital format. Next is my reading plan. I'm not positive if I will really use this in a digital format. We're going to try it in January and see how it goes. But in my physical journal, I would write out in pencil of what my plan is in order to get my TBR done. So I would write in when I'd be reading these books in what week of the month. And it really helped and I really liked it. And it made me feel like my TBR was accomplishable. So I did it in this digital format. I don't know if I'm really going to use it. We'll see. And if I don't, then I won't do it next month. Next is my books read. So I have 15 book silhouettes here. I don't know if I'm going to read that much. To be honest, I think that this month, December, I may read 15 books, but normally I read about maybe 10 max. So I put 15 in. We'll see how it goes. Luckily, it's digital. So if I want to delete them, rearrange them, that's the beauty of it. Again, the plan is to put the covers of each of the books that I read and what my star rating is. And then my last monthly spread is book stats. I have never done this in my physical bullet journals, so we're going to try it out. I have my favorite book of the month. So that little book silhouette, you guessed it, I'm going to put the cover there. And then right underneath where it says favorite book of the month, it says thoughts, feelings, etc. So I think I'm going to like type a little paragraph up about what I thought of that book. It could be like my favorite quote from it. It could be what I thought about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a whole paragraph. It could just be like, this was amazing, whatever. And then underneath that, I have some stats like total pages read for the month, how many books I started, how many I finished, how many ebooks, audiobooks, and physical books. Again, have never done this. Don't know if I'm going to continue, but we're going to try it. And then we have the back of my digital bullet journal. So those are the spreads that I have thus far. I'm really, really excited about this. I'm still learning and growing when it comes to bullet journaling altogether, but definitely when it comes to this digital format. So this is definitely going to be another learning year of what I like, don't like in my bullet journal. All right, guys, that is everything that I have for you in this video. Definitely let me know in the comments if you want to see a traditional plan with me video where I show you how I do everything, speed it up, put it to music. I was going to do that for January, but I didn't know if anyone would want to see it because it's a digital instead of a physical bullet journal. But if you'd love to see it, I would love to share it. Also, if you have any other questions about how I did something, what I used, you can always feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to please give it a thumbs up. Keep reading, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!